The show ends, the lights come up, and a man runs up to tell me, "You're much braver than I'd be in that dress." This one's a lighthearted look at identity, ego, and why we're not the characters we play, or anyone's weird projection. Join me as I unpack the hilarity and healing that comes with not taking things personally. Let's get into it. Welcome to Star Potential, a podcast where we explore the meaning of our existence while having a few laughs and sometimes tears through stories from the road of life. I'm your host, Julie Jo Hughes. As a stage performer, my life is quite literally about song and dance. I believe that life here on Earth is a playground for discovery, not a contest to be won. We ask questions together like, how do I evolve my consciousness? And how do you sing a passionate ballad when there's an old guy in the front row with his balls showing? True story. Stick around for these fun conversations. Hi, welcome back to Star Potential. I'm your host, Julie Jo. So it has been brought to my attention on several occasions that you are dying to hear the story about the guy with the old balls. That the guy with the old balls, right? So I get it. When I put that in the intro of this show, I didn't think it really required a lot of extra explanation. Is there much more to say than you're doing a live show and every time you come out on the stage, there's an old guy with his knees separated. And I don't know if he's just wearing loose boxers because he just doesn't care anymore, or he just didn't think that morning when he put on his boxers that anyone would ever be at an angle where they would be able to see. I don't know if at a certain age they start falling to the side more. I assume maybe more sag happens. I don't know, you guys. But the story goes like this. Let's just say this is in my days of performing in Branson, Missouri. So I'm part of an ensemble cast of singer-dancers. There's a live band performing on stage, and there are like 6 to 8 singer-dancers that are carrying the show. We come out in dozens of different costume changes. We're coming and going from the stage all the time. Sometimes there's solos happening. Sometimes it's group numbers. Okay. As we do our opening number, somebody happens to notice and tells the rest of the cast backstage, "Oh my gosh, did you see the guy in the front row? Just notice he's sitting with his knees far apart and you'll get more than you bargained for." And it's one of those things that then every time we went out on stage, it's like a train wreck. You can't look away. Like, you need to focus on each other and try to sing your live songs and deliver your dialogue that's scripted. But you got these old balls hanging out and you just can't help but keep looking there. And you keep cracking up. And when you make eye contact with each other, you either get these large eyeballs that are trying not to blink, or you both just blurt into crazy laughter. And that kept happening over and over until finally at intermission, one of the producers of the show was like, "You guys better get it together. Like, what is going on out there?" So we had to pull ourselves together. And then it was funny because, after intermission, the man had shifted as well. And you couldn't see as much as we could see going on in the whole first half of the show. But we're talking like 45 minutes to an hour here of every number you come out on stage. You're like, "I can't help it. Tractor beam. I can't help it. There they are again. The old balls. They're hanging out of his shorts." Now, I don't mean they were literally hanging out of his shorts. I mean, he's got pretty short shorts on because old fellas tend to do that. He's wearing the boxers because maybe he doesn't like to be boxed in anymore, and they're falling to the side. You can see what's going on. So that's it. Probably way more detail than you wanted. But hey, you guys asked for it. So there you are. That's the story of the guy with the balls showing that I talk about in the intro. Okay. And so I thought that for this episode, it would be fun to come to you with the top 5 most awkward things that are repeatedly said to me by audience members at performances and gigs. Yes. So this is not an all-encompassing list. This is also not a list of generic awkward things that people say to musicians or just to performers in general. Some of these maybe, but I'm sure you can follow many musician accounts where you will hear lots of awkward things that people ask. Especially my musician friends will tell you the list of songs that get requested over and over and over that we do not want to play for you, like Sweet Caroline, Freebird, Don't Stop Believin'. You come up thinking, "Oh, I've got a great one. Can you guys play this song?" And we're like, "Let me guess. We can narrow it down to probably about 5 songs that you're going to ask for." But, a lot of times you give the people what they want. This episode is about just the things that sometimes people say that just leave me speechless. And it's it's been humbling. They've given me opportunities to see myself from someone else's point of view, and they remind me to not take things so personally because everybody's watching a performance with their own lens and filter. And maybe this can help you as you go about your daily life when sometimes people say things to you that just seem totally awkward and maybe mildly offensive. Remember to just take it in stride and that it's usually a lot more about them and less about you. All right, so let's get started here. Number 5, coming in at the top 5 most awkward things said to me by audience members, usually right after a performance. Now, this one I haven't gotten in a while now that I'm a little bit not a spring chicken anymore. But when I was all throughout my 20s, this one I would get probably at least once a day. Definitely in my days in Branson, Missouri. I would get this a lot in my cruise ship days as a production singer on cruise lines. But here it is. So, do you kids have a real job or is this for college credit? Okay, that's one. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten that comment slash question. And then people in my real life. I think really until well into my 30s, people were assuming that I was just doing this for fun. I remember one time a really good friend of mine actually said to me, "It's amazing that your partner supports you while you get to explore your performing work." And this is not my current husband, but the person I was with at the time, I was like, I'm making way more than he is. Like, I'm helping support him with my performing work. It's just funny the perspective that people have on the arts sometimes. Like, there's no way you could consider this a real job, right? Like, you must just be doing this for some other reason, or, what do you actually do? It's so funny to me that people look at it that way. And in some ways, it's kind of sad because we know that a lot of times it's really hard to make it on just artist income alone. And most of my musician friends who are full-time music, yes, we do have multiple income streams. That's kind of part of being a musician or an artist these days, is finding other ways to monetize your craft besides just the artwork itself. So that comes in various forms, but just know that never throw shade at the working actress slash waitress. Don't throw shade at the guy who is giving your kids music lessons while he's also performing gigs all weekend. There are lots of things that we do, and we get creative to be able to do our craft and not have to put the pressure on our artwork to have to make money for us, because that's the quickest way to stifle creativity, is to demand it pay your bills for you. And I've learned this the hard way. But also know that yes, it is possible to make a living doing your art. And we have to encourage our kids to do this creativity and things because these skills that we learn in doing these artistic things do go on to support us in all types of other work as well, should we choose to do that. But I just always thought that was so funny when they assumed it was for a college credit or something. All right, number 4. This one is kind of a slashy, okay? Here's one version of it. Are you hoping to get discovered? / you probably don't realize this, but you're actually really talented. / you should really apply some of that talent towards doing original music. So those are all, to me, kind of 3 different sides of the same coin. But if you're doing music or art for a living, you've long since passed the idea of doing it to get discovered. Like, first of all, that's not even really a thing anymore. Artists are self-made. Yes, there are still ways of getting connected with people and being in the right place at the right time, just like in any industry. But we don't wait for somebody to give us an opportunity, or at least those of us who have been around for a while have learned that you don't just sit around and wait for someone to hand you an opportunity. You create your own opportunities, right? I will not forget, because it was a moment I'm not super proud of, but it was at a time when I was feeling particularly frustrated with the fact that I felt that I was working really hard and that nothing more affluent was coming my way. And we've talked about that in detail in previous episodes. I learned a lot of lessons through that. I was mistaking myself for the identity of singer. We went into that in previous episodes, but this was at a particularly triggering time for me when I was feeling like I was better than a lot of the gigs I was doing. I was a little bit bitter at the fact of the money that I was making, knowing that I was performing really well and that I had been paid much, much higher for gigs with much more clout in the past, and I felt like I was having to start over. But anyway, this guy comes up to me in this dive bar after I've just been melting faces, singing my face off for the past 3 hours of the night. And he comes up to me afterwards and he just keeps talking. He's obviously had a lot to drink, and he's kind of blowing me up with how wonderful he thought I was. And I said thank you graciously the first 4 or 5 times. And at this point, I'm like, it is 1:30 in the morning. I just want to pack up my shit and go home. I don't want to keep talking to anyone. I want to go home. My kids are going to get up at 5:30 or 6 a.m. I just want to go home. I'm tired. It's been a long day already, And this guy just keeps talking. As I'm trying to pack up my stuff, he's standing in my way. I keep giving the body language that I want to get off the stage and go to my car. He's just not picking up on it. And at some point, he's touches me on the shoulder, which immediately I'm jumping back whoa, you crossed the wall, And he's like, wait, I'm trying to tell you how talented you are. Well, you don't even know how good you are, do you? And I, in this moment of trigger, stepped back and said, oh no, I'm perfectly aware of how good I am. Now, if you don't mind, I'd just like to go home, please. Not my finest moment, but sometimes it's just we all succumb to these triggers and what's going on underneath the surface. And sometimes when you think that somebody is, you see somebody really talented and you just go on and on telling them that they're much better than what they're doing, they probably already know that. But, we all take various kinds of gigs for various reasons. And so just try not to stick your nose where it doesn't belong and respect that everybody has their own reasons. On the flip side, though, yes, a compliment is always very kind, and it's very nice that you reflect to someone how much you enjoyed their music or their art. All right. Coming in at number 3. This goes along with my whole identification with labels and living up to these things that we believe ourselves to be, these limiting self imposed labels, right? So, for a long time, I really considered myself a professional singer, and I didn't like it if anybody treated me like I was amateur or less than. It's like, don't you know who I am? That's a joke I say with my guys in my tribute band all the time. If they didn't let you through, I'm like, did you tell them who you are? Don't they know who you are? It's a joke because like in some everything is relative, everything's in perspective, right? Like to some people you're a celebrity, and then to other people they have no idea who you are, but we had just finished this great show, and in this particular band I am the female vocalist, and I play lots of various handheld percussion instruments. And a lot of times it's so funny. We wear these hats, and I kind of have my stage persona. And then when I come off the stage, I'm just regular Julie. And when sometimes it's literally I take the literal and figurative hat off, and I'm just me now, and I can walk through the crowd and like nobody even realizes that I'm the girl they were just cheering and clapping for the past 2 hours on stage. It's really funny how some of the guys, like, I guess they look the same to people, but a lot of times they'll even come up to me like, oh, I didn't know that was you, you seem much taller on stage. I'm like, well, it's my amazing stage presence. But a lot of times people do meet me in real life and they're surprised that I'm smaller or shorter than they assumed that I was. But this guy is going on and on. He's talking with two of the guys from the band after the show, and he's telling them how great they are, and he's saying nothing to me, and the guys are kind of looking at me. It's getting kind of awkwardly funny. I'm not offended in the least, but they're laughing, and finally someone, like one of the guys, kind of turns to me and is like, hey, how about that Julie too, or something like that. And he kind of does a double take, like, who are you? And then finally you can see the epiphany happen in his eyes, and he says, and here's number 3, oh, you were the tambourine player, right? And it's like my ego comes shattering down. Like, no, not this singer who has trained in private lessons all her life, who, has played at different houses all over the world. Yes, that was me, the tambourine player. Oh my gosh. And I really do say this laughing. At the time it did hit my ego a little bit. I was like, "What? Really? Like, is that all they took away from it?" And then it only took a little bit of reflection to notice. You kind of step back and you see that part of yourself that is taking offense at that. And I go, oh, there she is. There she is. That part of you that really likes to be validated. That part of you that really identifies as professional singer. She crept back in, didn't she? She almost allowed you to get a little bit scarred there. And then I can laugh at it and go, yes, the performer, welcome. It's okay. It's all right. We know that you like to be patted on the head, but some people do see me as the tambourine player, and I don't need to be offended by that. That's okay, but it's still funny. All right, coming in at number 2. I'm sorry, I can't even say these without laughing. This is one that I tend to get more often these days. I would say in the past 5 years or so, uh, that life has maybe given me a little more experience on my face or something. But as I said, I have incredible energy when I'm on the stage, and that is the number one positive comment that I get from people is, wow, you just have this amazing energy. I can't take my eyes off of you. And it's this incredible presence that I have when I'm on the stage. It's also what makes people think I'm taller than I am. I'm larger than life when I'm on the stage, right? But this is one that has been quite humbling to me. And it's, how old are you? Because from back there, you act and you just look so young. But now that I'm up close, I can see that you've got some experience. Or that you're not. Oh my gosh. This is one that really hit me hard the first time that somebody said it to me. I was, like, so offended. Um, the guy, like, just I said, "Just stop. Like, just stop yourself." I said that a couple times, and he didn't. He just kept going. I have since received this comment actually several times, and now I just find it funny. My husband said to me, you just can't be offended. You have to admit you have so much life when you're on stage that when people are watching you, there's a very young and youthful energy about you. And so they just kind of assume that you're very young. When they see you up close, they're like, oh, she's not in her 20s. Don't take that in a negative way. Take that positively, that whatever age you are, you have this timeless energy and youthfulness about you. So, yeah, that's, I guess, what he's supposed to say, right? I have since let it be a welcoming compliment about my energy, and I no longer take offense about the undoubted crow's lines and smile lines that they're probably referring to when they see me up close. All right, and coming in at number one, this one, you guys, still gets under my skin, I have to say. I don't quite get it. I have come up with various explanations for myself, and I would love to hear your take on it in the comments or just talk amongst yourselves what you think this is coming from. But it's so super awkward to me, and I can tell you that whether I'm the lead singer of the band, whether I'm doing background vocals, whether I'm the tambourine player, it doesn't matter. If I'm an ensemble member of the cast, it doesn't really matter, like the hierarchy of the bill of the show. I almost always, I would say, if not every show, maybe every other show, get this comment from at least one audience member. So which of these guys are you married to? / which of these guys is your boyfriend? Are they just asking who I slept with to get into the band? I don't get it. I don't know. I think it's highly offensive. I don't know why people automatically assume that. You can see that it still is triggering for me, even as I'm talking about it. I can laugh about it. I still don't quite get it, you guys. Why, just because I'm the only female in the band, do you assume that I am with or married to someone who's in the band? Like, is it not possible that I earned my own spot into this project, or perhaps I even created the project myself and brought in my male friends? Like, it's just so awkward to me. And there are so many people that have apparently no qualms about asking me that. So my takeaway for you is this: just when you see a female performer, don't ask her that question. Now, it's not like there are never relationships that happen among performers. That actually is quite common, because there is definitely an intimacy and there is a chemistry that happens when male and female performers are together on the stage. That doesn't necessarily translate to a sexual relationship or, something of that nature. So I don't know why people go there automatically. I was a guest on another podcast. We talked about this briefly. Could it be that I have amazing chemistry in that kind of a way, in a musician way, a creating art way with my fellow performers on stage? And so naturally people just assume there's another layer there as well. I guess it's possible. I have been quite offended in the past, different bands I was a part of, when I've been accused by other band members. Maybe they had some jealousy or whatever. Maybe they tried to make some comment to me and I didn't buy into it. And they have accused me of having relations with other guys in the band. It's like, no, I am happily married and I have an amazing relationship with my husband. Why is he not here? Because he doesn't need to come to my job every time. And a lot of times he's also with our children at home so that I can be here doing this. I'm not at his gym working out every day, making sure he's all right without me. Like, why do people assume these things? I don't get it. But it is kind of hilarious when I'm able to take a step back. And so that is the number one most awkward thing that people say to me and ask me about after performances. I hope this has been a fun episode for you and a little peek into my performing life and how I am able to take it in stride and treat it as such a spiritual lesson. So people say the strangest things after a show, but beneath every awkward comment is a soul reaching out, trying to connect. In those moments, I'm reminded that the character on stage is just a role we play. Our true identity runs much deeper, spiritual, boundless, and ever-evolving. So let's meet the world with humor and grace and keep returning to the truth of who we are, who we really are, beyond the masks and stories. Here's a quick reminder. You are not your role, your story, or the opinions of others. You are the infinite spark beneath it all. So the next time someone tells you you remind me of their cousin's ex-wife who did community theater once, just smile, take the compliment, and remember, we are not the characters we play, on stage and off. Until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll see you next week. Thank you for tuning into Star Potential with Julie Jo Hughes. If this episode resonates with you, I invite you to take 2 seconds, scroll down and click 5 stars on the rating. It's a fast and easy way to help the show gain exposure and momentum. If you're loving the show, I invite you to leave a quick review about what you love. Reviews are like gold to podcasters. And to show my gratitude, you'll be entered to win my monthly giveaway when you send me a screenshot of your review. I also made you a gift. It's a 9-minute simple gratitude meditation with singing to help you practice mindfulness. Just visit me on Instagram at @TheJulieJo or find the link in the show notes. Thank you for your love and support. Until next time, keep shining your light. And that's a wrap.